Welcome to OG Star Wars YouTube channel, and this is your Legends girl, OG Star Wars, and I would like to cover what Itchy Bacca has noticed and shared with us on Twitter, and basically put it on his blog page, Disney Star Wars is Dumb. Thank you so much, Itchy Bacca. Please go visit Disney Star Wars is Dumb and his Twitter. That will be linked down in the description below. So many of you guys have heard my rant, my mini rant, and heard me say as well as Luke has always been my own all-time favorite character. He is the one that made me fall in love with the EU as well. I really love Return of the Jedi. The OT trilogy basically hands down is my favorite out of the two trilogies. So reading this and seeing this come up just a few minutes ago, maybe, talking about Jen Erso and how it was her doing that really defeated the Death Star, I guess you can say, and dismissing what Luke has done has really hit a nerve. And I think it'll continue to hit a nerve when you see stuff like this established to discredit either Anakin Skywalker or Luke Skywalker and what they have done and how they were set up in George Lucas's 6 films, including the EU, are legends as well, because that was thrown out as well. So anything that was built up under Luke Skywalker's legacy was thrown out through, and turned into legends. And yes, Disney, Lucasfilm has a right to want to start off with a clean slate. I don't think their approach is very well thought out, because that alienated a bunch of us fans who grew up not only with the movies, but love the EU, love the legends, love the legends and all the novels, books, games, whatever that was brought out. And us EU fans were the ones that kept Lucasfilm or Star Wars alive between the movies and even after. So let's go ahead and take a look at this article here. Let's see here. Now if I can get it right. All right. So Disney Star Wars is Dumb. Itchy Bacca put this out here. So George Lucas is... All right, here. All right. It would help if I had it up, right? All right. So Jen did everything that mattered. Kathleen Kennedy's crack team of wacko feminists are working overtime to rewrite the original trilogy. And many of you guys remember this back a couple years ago, and it was discovered that Luke Skywalker had the red X over his face, and that didn't sit well with a lot of his fans, and they tried to cover up, saying it was just a little game or something they were playing inside the studio at the time, which I call BS on. So here we go. So the following excerpt came from the Alphabet Squadron, and I made fun of that book a long time ago when I first seen it, because it's dumber than it's just idiotic. This is just, the title is just weird. And okay, so written by hater of white males, Alexander Freed. All right. So here is the novel here. So Alphabet Squadron, because, they had A-Wings, Y-Wing, B-Wings, X-Wings, so they're going to just call it the Alphabet Squadron instead of, Rogue Squadron or Wraith Squadron or Twin Sun Squadron, whatever. The original lore was way more creative in naming their squadrons and naming everything that's associated with Star Wars. All right. Jen Erso? She began because if they didn't, the rest of the story would be meaningless. The woman who started it all and destroyed the Star Wars, the first one, the real one, I mean, General Skywalker and Red Squadron destroyed the Death Star, Nath said. Skywalker fired the last shot was all. Jin did everything that mattered. I met her once. All right, so let that sink in. So basically he's, recalling, did you know Jen Erso? She began because if they didn't, the rest of the story would be meaningless. the woman who started it all and destroyed the Death Star, the first one, the real one, I mean. So basically they are taking everything that Luke accomplished, and they're taking away because they're saying if she didn't take the plans to, or get the plans to Leia and to the Rebel Alliance, that this wouldn't have happened. And I get that in a sense, but the fact is that the person that just shows, that just gives us the person who gave the plans to it. Her father's the one that sabotaged the Death Star plan, the Death Star in reality, if you go back into the Disney Star Wars lore of this. And but from that, we the only one that could make the shot is Skywalker. So if he was not in the equation, this Death Star would not have been destroyed. And that's the point. If Luke Skywalker was not there, if we did not have Luke Skywalker leaving Tatooine because, you know, of his heritage, his lineage, beginning his hero's journey, wanting to do something bigger and better, losing his aunt, uncle because of the Empire, becoming a Jedi because, you know, he is a Force sensitive and they needed him, and going way back to Revenge of the Sith because he is one of the children of Anakin Skywalker and they planned for him to do this. If he did not shoot that blow, that last and final shot, and sorry, I'm getting kind of heated here. If he did not do that last and final shot, then the Death Star would still be there, full operational, and none of that would have mattered. So it wouldn't have mattered if Jen Erso got the plans to Leia. It wouldn't have mattered if her father created that one flaw inside the Death Star. None of that would matter if Luke was not in the equation. So when it comes to the final destruction of the Death Star, Luke is the number one person to have destroyed the Death Star. And again, without him reaching, letting go and letting the Force run through him, and Obi-Wan kind of coaching him through that, without Han 2 over there blasting Vader off his side there, he would not have made that final blow. And so this is taken away from, again, the heroism and the heroic act of Luke Skywalker using the Force and being able to help defeat the Death Star. Yes, it's a huge team effort. That team effort gave them the opportunity to look over the Death Star plans to find the flaw in the Death Star. But without Luke Skywalker, he would not be able, or they would not be able to have rid themselves from the first Death Star and weaken the Empire through that blow. He would not have became the hero of the galaxy. So this right here takes away from his arc and his journey, because why would a white man be responsible for something so heroic when it needs to be female centric, right? It's not enough to make Jen Erso a hero. Again, here we go. They have to tear down Luke Skywalker to, yay, equality. I'm starting to wonder, was the entire point of the Rogue One movie just to diminish Luke Skywalker? I think the entire point of Disney Lucasfilm from the beginning saying that they don't want Luke to outshine Rey, and so they put him in the foreground because he is our first hero of Star Wars. So I think from the beginning, they sabotaged Luke, and they turned him into a coward. They turned him into someone that, when you read him in the original lore, he would never turn his back on his family, the galaxy, or being a Jedi, or the Force. So, and he has made big mistakes, and yet he owned them and he defeated them, or he learned from them, but he still kept on being a Jedi, becoming the first Grandmaster since Yoda and in the New Order. And so they took that, they threw it out and coined everything Legends, and they turned him into a coward, and to give him a subpar like hero's journey of coming back to help the Resistance, even though it was his Force projection and he died from it. Now in Legends, when you Force project yourself or send an illusion out to yourself, you do not die from that. That's something you do not die from. So they basically said, let's kill him off because, you know, he is way better than what we have established. George created this hero that everybody loves, and he's overpowering, and he's, you know, outshining Rey Palpatine. And so now we're seeing the truth of this, and now we're going back pre-OT, where that sets Luke up to not be the hero as well. So what can I say? It's not surprising whatsoever to what's going on here. And I don't know if you guys are surprised by this or not. You know, I got a little bit heated, and it's just that you know, Luke Skywalker is my absolute favorite hero, and I do not agree with what they did to him in Disney Star Wars. And so I suggest you guys, you know, if you want to see a different approach with Luke Skywalker, pick up the EU or Legends original lore. Those are what I call them. Novelization pre-Return of the Jedi, and read all about Luke. Read about how well he was fleshed out, how well he was done, despite having flaws and despite having defeats and failures and all that. He still was a great character. He was a person who never gave up, never once gave up. Even when he was doubtful, he always had someone to lean upon, or he always tried to make sense of it, try to learn from it. And here we have Luke Skywalker in Disney Star Wars that basically gives up and then dies after trying to have some sense of heroic attributes towards the resistance. And he just basically dies of overdose. And so that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share to my channel. I do have a merch site through Redbubble, so I'll put that down below in the description as well. So please go and support as well. Purchase one of the merch. That'd be fun to have you guys sipping in one of my mugs while we do coffee chat. That just would make me feel so blessed. But you know, your efforts and your purchases and your subscription, likes, and shares really helps this channel out. So thank you so much, and may you guys have a great day, and may the force be with you.